right, so thank you all for being here. These usually start with some kind of an introduction. I'm going to try to keep it brief. I am Amy Small, the Senior Vice President of MediaCause, which is a digital marketing agency here in Atlanta that only works with nonprofits, which I know many of you are a part of. And I'm also the Managing Director of the RiseUP Marketing Fellowship, which is what I'm here pitching to you all today. That's all I'm going to say about me, because the people I really want to introduce you to are right behind me. So please meet Benjamin, Isaiah, and Shell. Benjamin is a first-generation college graduate who had a few awesome internships during school. But when he went to apply for entry-level marketing positions, he was struggling to get callbacks, even though his resume and his ambition should have spoken for itself. Isaiah is a first-generation Mexican-American who was working 2 jobs while teaching digital marketing skills to other aspiring talent. But when he tried to land his first agency role, he heard no from an astounding 256 hiring managers, literally 256, before he even finally got an inkling of a yes. And when college wasn't an option for Shell because of family circumstances, she built her own business and a massive social media following to go with it. But when she tried to apply to other companies, she heard that all of that real-world experience wasn't enough to make up for not having that piece of paper, a formal degree. I wish I could tell you that their stories are unique, but they are not. They are the stories of so many Black, Hispanic, Latinx, and what the advertising and marketing industries often consider non-traditional talent, who want nothing more than to launch meaningful careers, but keep running into unspoken biases and sometimes very purposeful barriers in getting into the industry. How bad is it? Well, less than 5.8% of the advertising workforce identifies as Black or African American. Less than 7% are Hispanic or Latinx. And there are no stats for people without college degrees like Shell, or career changers, or neurodiverse or differently abled, because there simply aren't very many. I have been in this industry for about 18 years, and these numbers are not exaggerated. Recently, a lot of industry leaders have been recognizing that there is a problem, but what most of them have been doing are things that are a bit performative, like signing diversity pledges and posting Black squares on social media and simply talking about what to do next. Talking isn't going to get us anywhere. The only thing that will is action. So last summer, several of my colleagues and I did just that. We started the RiseUp Marketing Fellowship, a full-time, fully paid, nonprofit career development program that helps diverse and often overlooked talent launch their careers. RiseUp works to dismantle the biases in recruiting and hiring by breaking down, or by delivering on rather, 3 key pillars. The first is real diversity. RiseUp is open to applicants of all experience levels, all educational levels, backgrounds, ethnicities, and ages, not just recent grads or those with personal connections. And we look for candidates who are really going to add to the richness of the industry. We're not just checking a box on a quota. Our second pillar is access. We believe that in order to take part in a program like this, you shouldn't have to work a second job to make ends meet. So we pay our fellows above minimum wage, cover all of their home office setup costs, and pay for all their training and certifications, which is so unheard of in an industry that usually brings in hands to work for free, rather than investing in teaching them how to lead for the future. And our third pillar is impact. After our fellows complete their intensive training, they put those skills to good use working on pro bono projects for nonprofits. So not only are they impacting their own lives by building their confidence in their resumes, they're actually impacting some amazing organizations that they're working for. We've seen that our approach works. Benjamin and Isaiah, who you met earlier, received full-time jobs after completing the program. And we fully expect that the fellows in our current cohort, including Shell, are going to do the same. My job this past year has been to scale the program because we know the need is there. We had over 300 applicants for our first 2 cohorts, even though we were only able to accept 6. But we also know that we can't do this alone. We need other corporate sponsors and investors and foundations to help fund the work. We need other agencies and in-house marketing teams to train and host fellows along with us. And we need support and amplification from communities like all of you. If RiseUp receives the $5,000 grant today, that money will cover most of the training for us to be able to bring in 3 more fellows. But maybe even more importantly, it will send a powerful signal to the rest of the industry that we can't just keep talking about doing something. We need to rethink our system. We need to rebuild our processes if we're going to rise up for a more diverse industry and equitable future together. Thank you.
Excellent job, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the compelling work that you are doing. It's so needed. But a targeted question that I have is not so much about the components of the project. Sounds phenomenal, but how do you penetrate the communities of the potential participants, the people who otherwise wouldn't necessarily know about opportunities like this? How are you able to penetrate those communities and then go about engaging potential applicants so that they can become part of the program?
Sure, it's a great question. And it was one we actually struggled with at the beginning. But what we've found is we've been doing a lot of personal connections. So there's a group called We Are Next, which is specifically online to help new entrants into this industry who may not have the background and may not have the connection. We partnered with them to try to reach some of those folks who don't know how to get into the industry. We've connected with HBCUs. We are targeting diversity and DEI boards specifically, and we have been working with other vocational training programs for people who are trying to figure out if they want to be in the marketing industry, who don't even know what advertising is, to try to get the word out there for them, so that most like if you're familiar with the One Club or you're familiar with 4As, most of the advertising and marketing industry programs really do just recruit from like the big universities that have these big ad programs that we're not going there. We're going to all the other places where people really don't know that this is an option and trying to bring them in.
Thank you. Excellent.